All right. Welcome, everybody. Hi, Johnny. How are you?
I'm
Good
doing
evening.
well. Yes. Good evening, Jennifer. How are you?
Good. Thank you very much. This is Johnny Johnson. He works with Eco-Green Mold Remediation. We met at one of the properties that he was inspecting, and so he knows everything there is about mold and that fabulous subject. So he's going to tell us a lot more about that and get us started. We did have some questions that were submitted from our Facebook fans, and so we wanted to make sure that we cover all of those things. And thank you so much, Johnny, for popping on here on a Sunday evening.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right, I'm going to pop right in here with some questions from everyone. So, the very first question that we got was not all mold is visible. What are other indicators, health factors, air quality, etc., that should prompt a homeowner to seek testing or consult a mold expert?
Great question. It's definitely a mouthful.
Mhm.
I would the main indicator is if your allergies are kicking in, especially if you're not prone to have allergies. I would say that's the biggest thing. Odor is also something that I would say is very important. That damp, musky smell. Truthfully, I would advise everyone to do kind of a walk around inspection for leaks. Mold. The thing about mold is that it doesn't grow overnight. Um, so if you do have mold, then chances are there's been a combination of that brew, so to speak, that witch's brew, that's been happening for a while. So I would say honestly, quarter inspections of the home is probably the most important thing, and that includes um, checking piping, not necessarily going digging deep in the dirt and that kind of thing, but checking the sinks, under the sinks, filling the walls for dampness, things like that.
Great. Those are, I really didn't think about once you move in, usually you just don't have it inspected anymore. You just
Right.
kind of go about your business. And I know I've seen some situations where people moved out and maybe, I mean, you have stuff in maybe your closet or whatever that's
Hmm.
hiding the wall and you never see behind there. So
Right.
that would be good.
Truthfully, yes.
Mhm. This is a great question. Is the product you use safe for my family and pets?
It is a good question, and it's one of my our selling points at Eco-Green. We use a natural product called Enzyme Magic. It's a multi-enzyme formula. It's completely safe. Now, of course, it essentially what it is an enzyme. So, and that enzyme attaches itself to the mold spores, and the mold spores turn into amino acids, and the amino acids is breathable and so on and so forth. So, it's very family and pet friendly. Now, I will say that there is a disclaimer, and I have to say this: it's safe generally. Far more safe than other chemicals out there on the market. However, it is still advised not to breathe this stuff in on a concentrated level, and that is because that we have bacteria in our lungs, and because it attacks bacteria, or not bacteria and fungi and so on and so forth, it will attach itself to the bacteria and get rid of the good bacteria in our bodies. Now it does. Now that I will say that it will take a lot of the chemicals you would have to be huffing this stuff for that to happen.
Ooh,
But yeah, exactly. But generally, it's very safe.
very safe, as long as you're
Yes.
not breathing it in. So,
Exactly. It's pH neutral. It's 100% biodegradable. It's non-flammable. It's non-toxic. So it's very, very, very good to use.
very safe. Okay, great. Yeah, I think that's definitely a great question, and something that's a concern to everyone is, when you start introducing chemicals to your home.
Right. Right. It's non-bleach related. So the good news is about that again, it's not, you're not fumes, feeling woozy.
Mhm.
But on now the only the con of it is that because it's not bleached, it doesn't get rid of the stain. So usually that would means you would need to paint over or that kind of thing. But the
Okay,
mold isn't there.
it kills the mold part.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's a stain what keeps the mold. Um,
Exactly.
here's one. What causes the mold? What causes mold?
Well, so I mentioned earlier that witch's brew, it's humidity, dampness, and darkness. So it's just like a witch, actually. That's the recipe for mold growth. That's why you usually see mold and behind the walls, under the sinks, in the inside the cabinets, things like that, where there's not a lot of sunlight. There's not a lot of you know exposure to anything other than the water and the humidity. So
Mhm.
that's what causes the mold. Yeah, yeah,
All right. The witch's brew, just in
yes.
time for those Halloween
The
lovers. I
Halloween. Yes, yes, yes.
know. Yeah. Um, all right. How can I tell if I have a stain or if it's mold?
Well, so it depends on number one. It depends on the surface. So, for example, on concrete, concrete is non-porous. Mold is a plant, so it needs to attach itself to something to grow. So mold can grow on the surface of concrete, something like that, but it won't penetrate inside the concrete. So, so if you have a stain on, say, a concrete, chances are it's not mold. And then if you say, but now on the other hand, if it's, say, your wall, and it's especially if it's protruding out, it's one thing to say, oh, my kid threw brown juice on the wall or whatever the case may be, that's a stain. But now
Mhm.
if it's protruding away from the wall, chances are that that's mold or something similar to mold.
Okay. And that's when we give you a call to come check it
Yes,
out.
yes, yes,
All right.
ideally.
Mhm. All right. What are some ways a homeowner can prevent mold from their home?
And I mentioned earlier the quarterly inspections. You can do it yourself. It takes maybe an hour or two on a Saturday morning to go through and inspect your home, check your air
Mhm.
filters. Mold actually grows on dust as well, so having regularly dusting your home is very important. Um, and also not only dusting to keep mold out, but for just general breathable air. Dusting is one of those things that's very important. Um, Cleaning, the most common area for mold is bathrooms, because you're taking a shower and the shower bounces off. You don't have your curtain pulled all the way or whatever, and you get that little corner where the bathroom meets where the shower meets the floor, and that's where the mold grows. That
Yeah.
is probably the most common area for mold growth. um so just cleaning that area regularly, changing your air filters, those kind of things are enough. Usually mold is, again, mold happens over time, so if you're not checking for leaks and things like that, you're bound to have mold. So
So dust. I didn't realize that mold could grow on dust. So
and
get
and,
the
and there is
duster
a
out.
and there is um, a strand of mold that looks a lot like dust, Penicillium aspergillus. It can favor mold. Not mold. I'm sorry. It can favor dust. So you wouldn't even know. You assume it's just regular dust, and in
Regular.
reality, it's mold.
Wow, that's very like scientific, I guess. Like yeah, be a chemistry major
Yes,
to know
yes.
all these things. All right. Do you share your remediation plans?
Yes. So we have the proposal, and
Mhm.
the proposal includes the remediation plan. So everything is very upfront and honest. I do my best to lay out exactly what I'm going to do and how I'm
Mhm.
going to do it. It's Yeah, but the short answer is yes. It's from the preparation to the actual
Mhm.
remediation to the cleanup. It's all outlined in every proposal that I do.
Fantastic. All right. And will our contractual agreement be in writing?
Yes. So all of that is a part of the proposal. So it starts out with your contact information and my contact information. Then it
Mhm.
flows into what I saw and and what I did and what I do the inspection. And I also include pictures in the inspection. So let's say, because we live in beautiful Vero Beach, people who live here aren't always here full time. So because of that, I take pictures for those who are not here, so they can see exactly what I found. And again, that shows goes back to transparency. Um, so then after that, after the pictures, it goes right into the remediation recommendation, and
Okay.
then finally after that, the fees that are attached to the remediation, and then finally where we both sign for the proposal.
Great. All right. So, and that can be done prior to purchasing or after I bought the house and been living in it for a while. So, anytime you come visit. Okay.
Exactly.
Do you offer any kind of warranty for the work you do?
Yes, as long as there's so quick note, we don't like to say mold removal, we say mold remediation, because you can't really get rid of mold. You can remediation. So as long as as long as the mold levels are acceptable according to the state guidelines, I will be in the home um, doing it at no extra cost. So if we come out and we treat and there's more mold, and we do the test again at about 21 days, we come out and we retest. If there's still mold, we come out and we treat again and again and again until necessary.
All right. And mold just grows here in Florida. Sometimes it's the whole witch's brew happens in Florida. Hot and humid, and the only part you need is a dark space, right?
Exactly.
It's sunny, so as long as it's inside and covered, we've got the rest of the equation. Exactly. All right, and for our final question, we have what is the experience of your company? And can you provide any testimonials?
So I actually bought the company from another gentleman about 2 years ago, and he originally was from Massachusetts, and he had a business up there. And then, of course, you get tired of the cold, so you move down here, and he started working down here. And he was going to retire. So what I ended up doing was I was actually training his son in boxing at the time, and I had been doing that for a while. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I want to retire." I was like, "Hold up, bro! Don't let everything go. Let's talk about possibly working something out." And that was about 2 years ago. So
wow.
So collectively, the company has been in existence for over 30 years.
Wow. Well, and so you've been in it for 2. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Loving mold and all things.
I know.
Remediation.
Yeah. And home improvement and home maintenance. There's the fun jobs. The interior decorations and things like that. And I get to hang out with the dirty stuff. So
get the old bacteria strains. Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to pop up here for people who are watching some of those testimonials that we have. Really, Johnny's done a great job. Let me pop that up here. You can also view on his website these testimonials from a few of the customers that he's helped. There's a few there, and I'm sure he'd be happy to give you an estimate and come and see you. So there's a few of them up there. You can pop onto his website. It's been kind of scrolling around here on the bottom there, bureaumoldremediation.com. You can visit him anytime, and you'll see the front page of his website. You can enter your information to have him call you back, or you can call the phone number up here. He's also got this email address that you can shoot him off an email, and he can get back to you as well. I'll be entering all of his contact information in the comments below, so that if you're watching this later, you can get back to his contact information or be able to click right onto his website. Thank you, Johnny. Did you have any other question or anything else to add?
No, that's pretty much it. The only thing I would like to add is that all of our estimates are free. Yes, so visual inspections are free, and if we have let's say if we can't find the visual, then we do it. The next step is an air sample. Air sample obviously is different from a visual inspection, so those are paid for, but it's very cost effective. But yes, all of our visual inspections are free.
Awesome. That's great news. So I would really recommend anyone who has any concern about mold to, definitely give him a call and have him come out and at least give a visual inspection so he can give you, some comfort in knowing what you're purchasing, and again, get those quarterly inspections and dust the house.
Yes,
Right.
please dust the house.
Please dust the house.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Johnny.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your Sunday, rest of your weekend, and hope to see you soon at one of the properties out there.
Yes, thank you for having me, Jennifer, and I hope to see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.